All right. Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Burger Thought, and welcome yet to another edition of Sunday Night Streaming. Sunday Night Art Streaming, that is. So I got some spooky ambient noises in the background. I figure it might be a good choice to go with for our topic today, which is potions, spooky ghostly potions. So first order of business over on the right side of your screen, you have a notification. So I'm hoping, because some things still need to be some things still need to be ironed out, but I hope to be over at the Long Island Tabletop Gaming, where I'll be showcasing my card games and hopefully selling a few of my miniature sculptures as well. So definitely check them out. They originally used to do tabletop and retro gaming convention. It was like one big convention, but they've since separated the two of them. So that'll be just next week and April. So with that out the way, let's jump into the main topic for today. This is a potion bottle I made out of random bits and bobs. A wooden disc, miscellaneous piece of round tubing, plastic that is, a like smiley face capsule that was used to hold like a really cheap raincoat, and I sanded down the bottom, made it flat, and I made this casting, or rather this original sculpture, if you would, of a potion bottle. I then went ahead and, using my standard Rioflex, made a mold of it. And I have since then, for today that is, been practicing with a type of expandable foam. It's called Flex Foam It. Flex Foam It number 3, which is the softest of the foam. This is a trash piece that overflowed, which is bound to happen. And you can squeeze it nice and tight, and it boop, bounces right back, keeping pretty much its main shape. What you have here is the first attempt to use it, in which I grossly overestimated how much it would expand and only got a portion of the mold out. Right now, this has bits of paint on that. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the second attempt, which was the result of this. And this is our potion bottle. I am making potion bottles that you could throw at your friends. Potion of harming, potion of poison. And for today, we're going to be painting the Owl House inspired elixirs, kind of eater's elixir from the Owl House. So you have the cork, the bottle frame itself, and a little, it wasn't on this because it came off, but you have a label. So it's like a catch-all kind of potion. This blue piece right here is from this. This piece right here is from this. And I'm trying different type of paints. Hey Marigold, good to see you, good to see you. So when you go online and you look up ways to paint soft foam, when you get to this level of softness, where you can just squeeze it like all the way like this, and it bounces back, which is the reason for this type of foam. This really low density foam. The only paint people tend to suggest is this, which is fabric paint. Usually you see people making cupcakes and donuts. So it's kind of like a thick frosting. It might not be the best. I'm looking for like an actual painterly look. Well, we're here to try different paints. This piece here has been pre-sprayed with peel coat. So when you're dealing with a denser foam, like EVA foam used for cosplay armor, people make helmets and battle armor and shoulder pads. They'll spray it with peel coat, because peel coat is like a flexible rubber that can then take pretty much any kind of paint. But of course, peel coat is just meant to be the middle ground. You still have to use a paint that flexes just a bit. So we're going to try different things. But right now, I'm going to go with what was my original intention, using these fabric paints, and try to paint this bottle. By the way, this foam usually expands white. I tried to mix yellow and red to get some orange, which worked better on the very first piece. I guess I didn't add enough red, so it just came out yellow. But at around 8:30, which will be the 2 hour mark for this mold, we're gonna demold this one because it is this color blue. So I'm trying to tint the foam and I'm trying to paint the foam. So today is a day of learning. Thank you, Marigold. Okay, let's see. So let's like I said, this stuff is kind of thick. People are like, oh, you have to use Q-tips. Paintbrushes won't work, and they probably won't. But I'm gonna attempt to paint this like a bright orangey yellow, kind of like, once again, from the Owl House. You know, recycle your foam. Recycle your foam, people. Use it for art projects. I have since stopped buying eggs that come in this. I buy eggs that come in paper containers because I have enough of these to begin with, and also I'm just tired of like adding to the trash. You know, one man cannot make a difference, but if one man tries, who knows? So we are using Brilliant. It's called Shiny Brilliant Yellow, Sunny Yellow, and this is Neon Orange. Now, where are my stirring sticks? Ah, there we go. By stirring sticks, I mean popsicles. So yeah, in the Owl House, Ida has a golden, orangey, almost yellow, glowing elixir, and that's the because she's part of the potion track. So we are trying to mimic that. Yeah, like it's thick, and then when you go to spread it, it's like watery. So you kind of have to like dab it. It's kind of odd. How's it look on this? Yeah, it doesn't cling as well as you would like it to. Maybe that's why some people suggest just dabbing the whole thing on with this. So my issue yeah, after a while, I realized I was buying all these foam cottons, and my job, not my job, my building, you know, they're kind of strict on the recycling, and I realized, you know, when you read the little slip, the little label on garbage cans, it tells you what goes in blue and what goes in green, but apparently egg cartons don't go anywhere. They cannot be recycled. Foam cannot be recycled in any way, so I usually use foam in art projects, like, you know, I recycle them into art projects one way or another. So I'm thinking, given how this spreads, 'cause I've seen different people use different techniques to spread this. Like I said, some people use Q-tips. Some people just pour it on, and you know, because they use it to make fake donuts and whatnot. So it looks like frosting. I don't want to look like frosting. Before that being said, I might need to just do more than one coat of this to actually get to look smooth. And once again, for whatever reason, this when I pulled this sucker out the mold, I noticed it wasn't very smooth. Like it definitely has porous nature to it, which it shouldn't. You know, you use a rubber molding. I use a urethane rubber mold, so it should capture the exact details of it. But once again, It's our first time using it, so we'll practice. I'll practice more and more. Hopefully, when we pull out the blue one, it'll be nice and smooth, and it'll look more like an actual glass bottle. There's also a paint I saw when they were suggesting paints to use for this kind of project. The two things were fabric paint and flexible acrylic enamel paint, which caught my attention. So maybe we'll look at that more. Maybe we'll look at that. The goal, in truth, is to tint these orange, like tint the actual foam itself orange. So, or rather, whatever the color is I'm aiming for. So in this case, you're gonna have a blue like potion. So I tinted this blue, and then I would just have to paint the top half, which is like white and brown for the cork. Go. They suggest poking it with a skewer. Okay, so that's that. Something to hold it on. Let's go with this. There we go. Okay, so let's see how the brown looks. Let's try a bunch of dark colors right now, and then we'll try the white. Let me grab, I have a whole pack of like cheap brushes. So let me grab one of these. So the colors I bought were white, brown, black, and then orange, because originally it was going to be orange bottles. So mixing the brown and the black definitely has a nice deep opaque to it. Okay. There may be, I'm thinking, because ideally I want these to be really, really squishy, really, really squishy, but if they're just soft enough where people could throw them at each other, I don't care if they don't squish them all the way down. You know, they don't like they don't have to squish them all the way down. So maybe I should prime these with peel coat, like this. You know, like this guy here, primed with peel coat. But even then, you see that? Like these fabric paints, they don't like nothing really sticks. The fabric paints are kind of crummy. Then again, maybe I'm just using bad fabric paint. Maybe using like a cheap brand or something. Sorry about that. Got some messages on my phone apparently. Okay, that looks better. I like that. I like that for the mix of brown and black, basic brown and black for the cork. And then the label is going to be the same thing. Maybe a lighter brown. I'll go back with a lighter color. What it could be also. Let me see. I was thinking party issue may be the release agent I use to get this out of the mold. Like maybe it's this stuff. Maybe the like ease release I use to get all my castings out of their molds. Maybe those. Maybe there's a coat of that. Maybe I had to like wipe this down more to get rid of that layer. I'm testing it on this blue piece, which is untreated. This blue piece here is untreated. And it's still kind of washy. Is that the right word? Kind of watery. Why does this camera have such a heavy shadow all the time? Okay. Clean up this brush. So what we have here, by the way, going back to this. This is brown and black. This is the white I was using. Regretfully, the only white I could find in the store was this iridescent white, which kind of works if I'm going to do like a white glass bottle on the top of it. So iridescent kind of shiny works. And then this white here is straight up just like cheap acrylic paint. And the acrylic paint sticks. Like a thin layer of this basic craft smart paint. It does stick, it does dry, and it does have a flex. But if you mess with it enough, it will peel off. And that's the problem. It's trying to find a paint that will flex enough. Does it have to flex to the point where I could squeeze them like this? That would be ideal. That's the whole point of the fabric paint. So as for the label, on this one, because we're doing it orange, even though it has a texture of a freaking orange, but on this one that we're doing orange, that's going to be inspired by the Owl House. So that will have, if I could fit it, maybe a little drawing of one of the characters from that cartoon. His name is Hootie. He's like basically a round circle and a little beak and two black eyes. He's an owl. So maybe I'll do a little owl symbol on that. On the blue one, which should be done in the next 15 minutes or so. So you get to see me take that out of the mold. Maybe we'll do that one like a poison or something, like a little skull and crossbone. I don't know yet. Gonna reduce the size of this. There we go. Alright, once again, orange, a little bit of yellow. You know what? Maybe I'll add some white to this because, you know, white paint needs to be opaque. So many times they add like a denseness to it. So we have a denser white, and then we'll do another pass on this, on the bottle. Yeah, it definitely has like a shiny white. Just like with any medium, you have to like really, practice and wrap your head around like how quickly does it dry? How well does it blend? Like right now, like I said, I just mixed a bit of white in this and it really looks nicer. The fact that I'm giving it this second pass. According to the bottle, it has to dry for 4 hours according to the bottle. Um, but it loses its tack after like the first hour or so, which is good. Once again, my only real complaint about this first casting, and it's funny because it's not a hard resin, but I still call it a casting because that's what it is. You have the rubber mold, and this is the cast, regardless of what the material is. Um, my only issue with this is why it has so much of a texture. It has a legitimate foam texture when it shouldn't. Seeing how it was inside of a mold, that should have given it a solid shape. Well, practice, practice, practice as I drop everything. You guys can't see it, but my table is an absolute mess. Hey, Red, good to see you. Oh, shoot, you are right. The video is frozen. Why is that? Maybe something wrong with my phone. Stand by. Yeah, the video shut down. Stand by, guys. Thank you for the heads up on that. I hadn't looked over to my left side and noticed that. Okay, hold on. BRB. Yeah, that was very weird. Maybe my phone. So to broadcast using this app on my phone, I must be on the Wi-Fi. But as soon as you turn the Wi-Fi on any phone, it desperately wants to update everything and everything and everyone that it's connected to. It just wants to update. So maybe it just fried. Maybe it just messed with it somehow. But that should get it going. Yeah, so we're just gently adding layers of this really viscous paint, which luckily, once again, since the base is yellow, it helps orange on yellow. Okay. Let's clean that off. I don't know if this is... I really doubt this stuff is water-based. So I'm not sure how you clean your brushes. Then again, these are trash brushes I'm using. So it's okay. Turn this light off. Does it... If I turn the light off, does it adjust the lighting? Does it reduce the heavy shadows? Give me a second. I'm watching my own video feed, so I have to wait to see it catch up. Oh, dropping my palette. Yeah, I'm working in the worst conditions right now. Just junk everywhere. Sitting on a weird shaped stool. Yeah, shadows look better. I think the shadows look better without the light. Yes, I'm just gonna build up layers. My main concern with these is that now that I have the mold, now that I have a grasp on how to do the castings, how much material to use, that's quick. But if the painting process is gonna be a real pain in the butt, it's gonna slow down production of these guys. So I just gotta find a way. I just, just gotta find a way to streamline this. Kind of looks like a giant orange, but because of the texture, but it still looks nice. Okay, so clean that brush off. I'm just cleaning the brushes as I go because once again, I don't want it to like gunk up the brushes just yet, even though the brushes are garbage. Another option is, for the coloring process, I buy peel coat of different colors. Because peel coat is usually, usually you would buy it white, gray, or black. Because using it for cosplay, and all you really want to use it for is the base. And then you paint the top metal colors, whatever armor you're doing. But if I know I'm doing a series of these that are meant to be a certain color, like orange, if I could find peel coat that's orange, I could still tint the foam, but then I could just spray paint it with the peel coat orange, spray paint the top white, and then add a little, and then I could paint the brown, since the brown is meant to be a cork and a label, which has a texture anyway. And once again, peel coat in itself is flexible, and it holds in there. Like, I'm rubbing against it right now, and it's not really peeling off. It's like on the foam. So maybe buying peel coat in those colors is a good idea. Alright. We're going to let this sit for a minute. Let that orange, let that brown kind of begin to settle in before I try to paint any white. And let's get the tape off of this mold. So, fun fact, I made this mold last night. I got home at 9. I already had this guy and his cork set up inside of a box, ready to go. And I mixed 1-for-1, poured it in, let that sit overnight, and then today I took it out. Now, fun fact, I'm squeezing this. And I believe I did 2-to-1. Otherwise, this wouldn't come out right. It's 2 of one chemical, 1 of the other. So it's like, so this guy I did way too much, but this came out to be 10 milliliters of one chemical, 20 of the other, and it expanded just the right amount. And as I was mixing it, I was like, wait, did I do 2-to-1 or 1-to-1? So we'll know once I pull it open. Okay. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Put them to the side for a minute. I'm going to peel off all the excess. All this little extra on the side. Because you don't want that drying inside and messing up your mold. Stand by. Where's my... Ah, here we go. Oh, it's good to have some kind of tool on hand. I'm just trying to get this right here. It's like a little reservoir that I created for the air to escape. But it's so narrow, the foam gets caught in there too. It doesn't want to get out. Where are you? Where are you? Tools, tools, tools. Nope. Come on, guys. I put you in. I put all the tools in one pile right here. Now they're all gone. Ah, there it is. Metal tools. These are metal tools for wax carving that Clitorius Rex Joe got me. and I've used it, and that was like years ago, and I've been using them ever since for everything. All my sculpting, all my molding, these tools have come. It was like a kit of just like, it looked like a kit of like dentist tools almost. Strange enough, I have not used it for wax. I've used it for everything but wax. There we go. So is the foam reusable? Not really. It's just once you make the foam, that's it. I don't believe it's recyclable. I don't think it's recyclable, to be honest. Ooh. Okay. I'm just gonna cut back a little bit. We lost a bit of the cork, but that's okay. Having the corks look a little different from one to the other, it adds character. I'm just gently removing this kind of skin layer. You always get this little layer where the two rubber molds, where the two half of the molds meet. Like on the zigzag, for example, sometimes whatever you're pouring in will bleed out. Leaves almost like a skin thin layer on it. Okay, there we go. There's a word for this when you have like if you ever had a toy. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna get a pair of scissors that cut this real tight. But if you ever get a toy that's a little bit of like plastic on the edges, that's because the mold wasn't tight enough. Hey, stand by, guys. I'll be back in a second. Part of me wants to call it flocking. Flocking is not the word. Flocking is something else. But yeah, this little bit you sometimes have to cut off to make it smooth, make it clean. Cannot remember what it is right now. There's a term for it. In the industry, there is a term for it. And there's a blue one. And there's our blue potion bottle. It is... Something's up with this. Let me give it a... Okay, ready? Let's give it a squeeze. Oh, I got a squeeze. It bounces right back. Something's weird with this one. Has almost like a skin on it, like all around. Like I feel like if I pull it hard enough, it's gonna just start peeling off. That's very weird. Not sure what caused that. Hopefully when we add some paint, it'll come together. Right. Here's our blue. And since we still have some brown paint, before it dries up on my brushes completely. Let's use some brown paint real quick. Let's paint the cork, because the cork looks like it's gonna keep peeling. So add some paint to like hold it all together. All right, so once again, the foam you cannot reuse. The mold, yes, the mold is reusable. Like I said, this is urethane rubber, so it's kind of like a rubber band. So you will get some good. You know, you could use that over and over again for quite some time, as long as you're gentle with it and remove like the castings gently. But over time, it will break down, just like a rubber band. That's how a rubber band dries up. It's rubber, so it'll start to like get a little tough around the edges. And if you have a casting that has like really fine details, every time you pull the casting out, you risk damaging those edges. Hello, Winter Toy. Thank you for dropping in. Since you're just joining us, I am trying different painting techniques for extremely soft, like flexible, soft potion bottles. You know, the kind of potions you see in video games people throw at each other. So I thought it'd be a nice product to work on. So knowing how the acrylic, I'm so tempted to use the acrylic to paint on this, but I know it's just gonna flake off. It's like even this example I did. Look at that. That's the acrylic flaking off. Like no matter what, only the baked in colors, like this blue and the yellow I did on this, those are the only colors that will like truly never fade out of it because they're just part of it. But I still want to try and find some kind of paint that'll hold in there. Yeah, this white It's gonna definitely need like several coats. Like when you mix the white with something else, like the orange, it became nice and viscous and really the tint was there. But painting the white flat on, yeah, there's some layers of white you gotta add. Either that or I gotta find a better brand of this fabric paint. Yeah, these were super cheap fabric paints. Like they were like on sale at the only art store anywhere near me. Like if I want to go to any art store, I have to travel like 45 minutes into the city via train. Maybe less. I just gotta find closer ones that are better. But yeah, there were two main art stores near me. One was Michael's Art and Craft, which was always a nice place for inspiration. And the one near me that I got this from is called Savathon. It's a fabric store, but they have an actual like art section where they sell like paints of different types and like random crafty stuff. Those are my options, people. Those are my options. I'm always wondering how they do like foam toys. Like obviously the colors are all baked in, it seems. Like a good foam toy, like Nerf has released like foam swords and shields where the colors are obviously baked in, they're not chipping off. And I just gotta find out like how does the industry really do it? I can assume they paint the mold itself, but what do they paint the mold with? Because tinting these is a liquid based paint I use. It's not like if I try to paint the mold using that, it would just make a complete mess. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely do a few layers of white, which is fine. I just don't like the fact that it comes out so chunky. Like it, in the end, it looks like frosting. That's the issue. I mean, it's getting there. But in the end, in my opinion, it looks like freaking frosting. And once again, the mold is definitely smooth, but the foam still comes out looking like bubbly, looks rough. The foam still looks rough. And that's when it's against the mold. Like this foam here, this is the overflow. It just kind of came outward. and it's pretty dang smooth. But the foam in the mold doesn't look like that. It's like the opposite for some reason. Excuse me, drinking some water. Okay. Just doing some test strokes, see how the paint looks on top of the foam that was hit with the Pure Coat primer. Let's take a look at Orange Boy. Bit of a rough, I don't know if you can see it on camera. A little rough right there where the foam kind of definitely tore. Didn't really have a good texture. The rest is relatively smooth. Oh wait, got a toothpick over here. I mean, I'm just unhappy with the overall quality because I was really hoping for like smooth, you know, almost exactly like this kind of results. But the idea still stands. The little potion bottles, and you could throw them around at people back and forth. That's the idea is still there. So give me a second. I'm gonna make sure this mold is nice. Make sure the urethane mold is nice and clean. Because maybe we could do a quick. Maybe we could do a on camera. Just do a quick mold right here, and then let it sit to the side for the next like 2 hours or whatever. Just gotta clean this out. Stand by. Okay, yeah. Let's try it. These guys need to dry anyway. I could do the mold and stick it right to the side off the camera. So you have your mold. Should be as cleaned out as possible. A bit of a mess on top. I could peel that off. It is true. It's one of those things where it's like I'm okay with like little imperfections, but it's one of those things where it's like, do I feel given the imperfections, whatever they are, do I feel comfortable selling it to someone? Like, is it gonna fall apart in their hands the moment they leave? Like, they leave my vicinity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always afraid of that kind of mindset. Okay. So first, I prep this with ease release because I don't want the mold, like the molding, to really get stuck in there, and then just tear it up. It's such a pain to get it out when it tears. It's like it's like gluing a sponge onto something. You try to remove it, it just rips. So I'm trying to make sure I have enough of this ease release as I blow it indoors like an idiot. Surprised I'm not dead from all these chemicals. Okay. Okay. Mold is good to go. Let's put some tape on this sucker. The tape is really more for like the air suction. I'll still use like this rubber band, like a big one, this big rubber band, to kind of just like hold it snug. Not so tight where it's squeezing the mold and altering the size and shape. I'm also going to spray the top of this because when it overflows, it just goes everywhere. And I want to make sure that I can remove it from that as well. Okay, so once again, this was inspired by the Owl House, which is why orange is meant to be the base color. But we are doing different colors. Let's imagine we're doing different colors. So how about we have orange, we have blue, maybe purple. Maybe a base color of purple might be nice. Let me put this right about here. That way it gives me space to work, even when it begins to flow everywhere. So what colors are we thinking? I could do green. Now mind you, it's gonna mix. Unless I add a lot of green, it'll be like a pale green because the foam is white at its base. So we could do let's do a green potion. Green is more poison-esque. Green and purple tend to be poison. Let's go with green. So first thing I do is take 20 milliliters of blue. I'm going to put that into a cup. And that'll be the first step. okay. Well, technically it's 40 because this is 20 milliliters. So we're doing 20 and 20. Am I doing that right? Yeah. Trying to think how much I did for this. This was 30. This was 30 and 15. 20 and 10. Yeah. Yeah. 2 of these is 20 milliliters. There we go. So that's 10. Okay. Clean this off. Very viscous, very, very viscous. So I'm using 2 different syringes. You don't want to mix them up by accident, but then they'll start to mix inside of this. So this has 2 and 2. This is going to have 1. Ah, there we go. Got stuck. Let me see. Where's that green? There it is. So this is a liquid tint. It is extremely powerful. Like I literally just add like a dot and that's all I need because then it goes, then it's way too much. But we are going to add a lot because this foam is white. So adding a little extra green via this toothpick will be enough. Get like a nice dark green, almost black. And with that said, my fingers are already stained. All right, ready, folks? There's one thing I have to do before I blend the two together. I need a piece of like flat plastic. This needs to be like a hard piece of plastic, but this might have to do. Okay, so I'm taking this piece of plastic right here, and this is gonna be what causes the pressure to build up inside. Like I'm just gonna hold it down. That's gonna flow out. That's the idea. That's the idea. And let me get gloves. Give me 1 second. I'll get some gloves and we could do this. It's gonna be fun, people. All right. And here we go. $35 of work time, they say. Let's see. So 35 seconds of work time. And then 20, it says 20 minutes of curing. And then the 2 hours it needs to sit to like really fully cure. Okay. It be expanding, which is good. Just give it a moment. It will like kick in just a moment. There it goes. So by putting this pressure on it, I'm forcing it to fill in all the gaps all within it. It is a little warm, but nothing. It is not like using like the white resin I use, which freaking burns like crazy if you touch it. Yep, so that's a good ratio. It's 30 milliliters altogether, 20 of one, 10 of the other, and it's just enough to expand, but it doesn't. It's not a waste of it. There we go. So this bad boy is gonna sit to the side. You can see it in here too. It apparently it expands to 15 times. That's what it says. On the paper it says expands to 15 times the amount. And even the small amount that was left in there is kind of growing as we speak. Remember those toys? There were two kind of toys. There were these little plastic pills that they dissolve in water, and inside was a condensed foam figurine of like a dinosaur or something. It only came about that big. You drop the pill in water, and then suddenly, boop, a little dinosaur pops out. But do you remember those weird toys that were like dinosaurs or Spider-Man or just whatever, and you stick them into a bowl of water, and they just kept growing and growing, and they looked really cool until you left them in there for too long, and they just kind of like disintegrated after a while because they got too big. They were definitely dangerous. Kids used to like eat them and stuff. I remember loving those toys. You get like a little hard like condensed little dinosaur stick into a bowl of water, and it'll just swell up all spongy and all crazy and like. I like this color. This is a nice poison color. Just gonna add a little bit more brown. I'm gonna add just a little bit more brown to our pre-existing don't fall. Our pre-existing potion bottles right now. This guy's not gonna go anywhere tonight. But even then, watch. Like, I can already I can already feel the resistance of the foam. Like, 20 minutes and that's it. Like 20 seconds, no, I'm sorry, 35 seconds, it's molded into the shape. Like it just fills up. 25 minutes, it's still kind of tacky. But 2 hours for it to reach that point where you could then squeeze it. And like, you know, really, really squeeze it and have it bounce back to the same shape. Yeah, I'm really happy with that color. It's like a sea green, right? Like this, the green mixed with the natural like whitish of the foam. A nice like cool sea green color. So some of the ideas I had for these, you know, once I work out some of the painting details, I want to do a few that are rainbow color, or like a few that are just the various LGBT from is it purple, blue? It's like a shades of purple, blue, and violet, which I think are for bisexual. Rainbow is obviously just a general, you know, general pride. And I'll probably, if I could write it really carefully on the labels, I'll label them as pride potions. Just something fun, something to show, like, you know, support for, just a support for people in need. So you have like just general potions of like poison, potions of health. I could do a pink one called the love potion, which would be great because then you know people will be buying that and tossing it at each other. Like now that I think about it, the love potion part. Um, there's an episode in Gravity Falls, which is a great cartoon. I love that cartoon. Like it is a good cartoon. It has a good concept. It told its story in like 2 seasons. Like it knew what it wanted to do. Um, but there is an episode where they meet like Cupid himself, and he's like this heavy set like crazy hippie dude, and he has on his belt just a bunch of like potion bottles. I think they weren't shaped like this though, but they were definitely potion bottles, and they were all the different types of love that he spreads around the world. But the guy was like such a crazy like hippie dude. Like he puts his finger into one of the potion bottles and goes bam and does like gun fingers and like makes a raccoon fall in love with like a dog or like this weird stuff he's doing to like show off. But his like belt is just a utility belt of potion bottles. I'm just doing another mix. I'm just doing another batch of this vibrant orange. I definitely want to do a few coats. Yeah, when you see people painting these online, when you see them painting like the most common thing people do with these, they'll buy like one of those like latex food pans for cupcakes, or or like things that look, or even like slices of cake, like this like triangular pans, and they'll just fill this into it, and then they'll color like really cool donuts. They'll color, they'll do like tons of like different, you know, culinary designs, and they make the painting look so easy. But once again, like right here, where the foam just got kind of rough for whatever reason, I could just add like lots of layer of this paint, and it'll hopefully like smooth it out. That's the idea, and it does kind of work. It's like it's like you're painting with plaster. You have to like some people could do like beautiful things with freaking plaster. Like they'll do like the most ornate stuff in your house with this like really chunky viscous media. So yeah, I could complain all I want, but it's just a matter of practice. Okay. Let's see if we get better light on the I feel like I need to put something in the wall right here in front of me to like really just hang a lower light above me. Just want to see if you guys. I just want to get a light that way you guys can see the color of this green, which is quite nice. Where's my small brush? There it is. You can kind of see it, kind of shiny right here. How bright that looks. But yeah, for whatever that just causes a weird shadow. You guys could probably hear that dog barking in the hallway outside. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's true because I just found a random ambient like what's it spooky Halloween noises like ambient spooky noises. Um, yeah, so having like a dog like bark in the distance just does kind of sound like it belongs to the music track. I'm just trying to like find that mid ground where it's thick enough where you can see the white paint, but not so thick where it just looks freaking awkward. In hindsight, what I could have done, like imagine this shape, then around the neck of the bottle, I could have molded like string, and then also molded as like some kind of gook, like using clay. That way, rather than try and keep this smooth glass, like I could keep this as a smooth glass, and then this would be string with like liquid pouring out. So even if I colored it in a chunky fashion, it wouldn't be as noticeable. But you know, hindsight 2020. So yeah, and luckily because I have the original mold, I could do a hard cast, maybe like a resin or something, and do variations of it. So in other words, I could take the rubber mold, do a hard plastic casting, take that out, rather than return to this, and do a variation of that, and do another mold and another mold. I mean, ideally, I want to have more than one mold anyway, uh, just to speed up the creation process. There we go. All right, so we got these two, which are pretty much good to go. Just cleaning my brushes right now. You guys got to see the process I go about making these. I gotta buy some gloves to make it a lot easier to like do the, to push it down. Once again, we'll find different ways of painting it. Yeah, you can really see how much it expanded in the cup. It's like up to like here in the cup. I gotta clean out these. I gotta clean out these. Make sure they don't get dried and act all screwy on me. But yeah, maybe. So options. Maybe not rely so much on the tinting. Just hit it with peel coat, shades of peel coat. White peel coat for the top. I can always paint the cork, because the cork is okay to have texture. I'm okay with the corks having texture. So I can always spray paint the top white, and then choose different spray paint colors for the main bodies. Will the peel coat give it that flex I want? It seems to do it. Peel coat seems to bend very well. But it is peel coat. The whole idea is that it will eventually peel off as well, but it hangs in there when it comes to foam pretty damn well. Just to give you an idea, like, look at that. They look super on camera. They do look super smooth. So they look good on camera, smooth at least. Not bad. Not bad for a new. It was a brand new product. I just had an itch, and I was like, I'm gonna make this product. I'm gonna make it work, and I think it worked well enough. Still gotta do the labels. We'll wait for that. I'll probably be putting once these dry up, and once I do like another coat of white on top. Maybe once this guy's done as well. But once these guys are like coated a few times with paint and cleaned up, I will be putting these on my Instagram. I will write something on the labels. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it, guys. There's not much more painting I could do because it's you gotta do it in slow strokes. Because this paint apparently does take a very long time to dry. And like I said, this guy won't be done for another 2 hours. So that's like what? Right now it's 8:30. That's gonna be at 10:30. And even then, I might not demold him tonight. Let's see how smooth he comes out. I'm just trying to get that real smooth edge. Try to hide that foam edge. And I think that's going to be it. So, Red, thank you for joining. Marigold, thank you for joining. And let me just pan back in the chat. Winter Toy Manufacturing. Yeah, Winter Toy Manufacturing. Thank you also for jumping in. Thank you for the wave. And I think we're going to call it early tonight because I want to clean up and get away from these chemicals. Yeah. So let me get this guy back real quick. So once again, this was made out of like several different pieces. The cork did break off when I was trying to get him out of the mold. But yeah, this guy, I knew what I wanted. I knew I would not be able to sculpt a perfect circle, so I just hit a bunch of 99-cent stores and cheap art stores, and I found this. And I got a really cheap raincoat out of it, because, like I said, this was like a raincoat thing. Really weird. And, yeah, so I think that'll be that. Thank you for joining, guys. And I'll do my regular speech, my regular spiel speech. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.